Hello again. My name is Ben Gibbins. So I'm doing another episode, if you will, of Ask a Candidate. So I put out a question and ask people what they think a topic or something that I should speak about. So Marty asked what my position is on sanctuary cities, current immigration policies, and DACA. So I'll answer this just like I did with the past video. So I'll go over my belief on immigration, the federal responsibility, state responsibility, and if there's any community or individual responsibility. And I'll do it in three ways. So I'll talk about immigration first, then we'll go into sanctuary cities, and then into DACA. Obviously, these are interconnected, but they're kind of each their own thing. So, talking about my belief on immigration, I believe immigration creates innovation. The mixture of cultures, the mixtures of technology, food, things like that, it creates great things for us. However, there also is a challenge there. If somebody wishes to immigrate to the country, there has to be a reasonable place for the person to go. There has to be a reasonable anticipation that the person can find employment, or continue on in school, or something to that effect. So that's my belief. So I'll talk about federal responsibility just with immigration, then we'll touch on the other two. At the federal level, I think it's the federally responsible to set up a standard for immigration. So what we have currently going on is different standards for different populations, which is nonsense. Bottom line, one standard, because either our standards are safe or they're not. Because if they have to be changed by different regions, that means to me that immigration standard is not safe. Now, at the state responsibility should be to identify what reasonable number could a state take in and expect and have an expectation that the person will be able to be successful. So that number needs to be, vetted by city, county, state, or by city, county, and region up to the state, and then the state should be able to go to the federal government and say, look, this is the numbers that we can handle. Then, as far as immigration, there's several different steps. Somebody can get a school visa, somebody can get a work visa, then we're talking about immigration status, which is on path to become a citizen. So I'm going to give you a personal story of somebody I had from Thailand who lived with me for a short period of time. This was years ago. So the scenario was, it was a guy and his brother who were out here from Thailand. His mom and dad was still back in Thailand, and he was living with his aunt out in the area where I lived. Well, one day he was holding on to the back of his, no, I'm sorry, he was riding a bike and his brother was holding on to the back of the bike. They got hit by a car. He went over the car. His brother went underneath the car. His brother was killed. The aunt left and basically left him there. So he was living with somebody that lived across the street from me, and I personally didn't like the living situation, so I asked him if he wanted to stay with us. It'd be okay with me. Simple rules are no drugs, you have to continue on with school, that whole thing. So he was 16 at the time. He had a school visa, so he's here legally. Everything is legit. So I went to an immigration lawyer to see about getting him a work visa. Because bottom line, he's out here on his own, a young kid. So this is what I was told at the time, and immigration laws changed. I'm just going to tell you what happened back then. What they asked was, does he have over $10,000 in the bank? Okay, now I'm going to remind you, he's 16. No, he didn't have that. They asked him if he had a bachelor's degree. Again, he's 16. Basically, all the criteria in order to get a work visa. From the region that he was from, you would have to be already successful to get a work visa. So, needless to say, he couldn't do that. And then while he was going through high school, I had to let him know that once he turns 18, that school visa is no longer valid, and there's nothing I can do. So unfortunately, he went about his way. I'm not sure where he ended up. But that's one example of a immigration policy that's just absolute nonsense. To tell somebody that they have to meet standards higher than most people in the United States in order to become a citizen is kind of a strange statement to me. So, bottom line, federal government needs to set one standard across the board, meet this standard, and you can apply. Just that simple. I do believe that there should be priority. So we've got the baseline standard. So I'm not saying that the standard's different for anybody, but for somebody to go through like an express lane almost, somebody that is in the military should not only, I think they should be top priority. Somebody who's in the military, somebody who's a police officer, and somebody who's a firefighter, they should have priority over everybody else because they're willing to do a job that may get them killed. So, you know, I think that should be a consideration. So I think that covers everything that I want to talk about on immigration itself. So let's talk about sanctuary cities for a second. Okay, this topic has a whole bunch of implications. So the original sanctuary city, the reason why it was there is when somebody, if somebody were to be attacked, some criminal, I don't know, beaten up, robbed, so that person could go to court and not fear being deported while the court process is going on. As far as I understand, that the definition of sanctuary cities has completely changed, but it also sounds like political party nonsense. Sounds like one party is saying no, it's like this, and then another party is saying no, it's like that. Regardless of how you vote, it really doesn't matter to me. What I'm trying to point out is there's no clear definition that I've heard of what today's sanctuary city actually is, because the reports say two completely different things. And if we're talking about the collaboration between local police and ICE or federal agents, then if I were a state representative, if that cooperation is not happening, then it's my responsibility to figure out why. Because bottom line, the federal government has a job to do, the state government has a job to do, and the one thing that I will not back off of is, you know, it's written in our Constitution for, you know, against illegal search and seizure. Period. So I won't play with that. So what that means is a police officer of any type cannot just go and start investigating somebody unless there's probable cause. Okay, somebody standing on the road or driving down the street or anything like that is not probable cause of anything. They're probable cause of being human. So, but if there was something else going on, if somebody did get arrested, if somebody did get, if somebody did do something illegal, then that's different. You know, I don't know why we wouldn't be able to say, hey, let me see your ID, who are you? So that way we have background. I don't see a problem with that. And if that person is not supposed to be in the country, then one thing that, you know, as a matter of fact, me and Marty had a conversation about this, and I thought it was a great point, is the taxpayer shouldn't have to pay for legal representation for somebody who's not here legally. I agree with that. But what could happen is I still believe in due process, so the person should still get a lawyer. So the bill shouldn't necessarily go to the person that's there. It should go to the government that the person came from. Will that work? I don't know, but it'll send a message that particular country needs to take responsibility for funding any type of legal aid for somebody who is here illegally. So just, you know, just a thought. Will that work? I don't know. Now, as far as DACA, I think this is straightforward. Okay, what I'm about to say has nothing to do with this. I'm not promoting Obama. I'm not putting down Obama. I'm not promoting Trump. I'm not putting down Trump. I'm just pointing out what happened. Okay, so we have a president who did an executive order which passed through the judicial system, so apparently that's constitutional. But I have heard that, DACA is not constitutional. Well, this is a copy of my Constitution. If you can show me in here where the president couldn't do that, let me know. Okay, I'm not saying that I agree with the policy. I'm saying that I don't know that it's unconstitutional. So, but here's the problem that I see. An executive order was given, basically gave a promise to a group of people that if they met this criteria, which is pretty high criteria, that they would be protected. And then along comes another political party, says nope, and pulls the rug out from under them. Okay, and I'm saying political party, it was actually two presidents that did the actual action. And I think Obama's just as much to blame as Trump is. Because it wasn't written into law. So now we've got a whole bunch of people that are in limbo, not sure about what their future holds. And to tell this person, okay, well, go back to where you came from. Where's that? So I think DACA is fairly clear to me. The promise was given to these groups of folks that they meet this criteria, they'll be given, nothing will happen to them. So they met the criteria, they did everything that was asked of them, and now we are not holding up to our end of the bargain. I have a problem with that. Now, it's still not unconstitutional. Obama could do it, it was constitutional, and Trump can do it, it's still constitutional. What I'm arguing is it's just completely not right. It makes us as a people look bad. It tells the world that when we say something, we don't mean it. We're not willing to stand up for our word. So that's where I'm at with DACA. Bottom line, all the folks that qualified for DACA should have a very direct path. They should be given the option to move on to immigrant alien and then on to full-blown citizenship because that promise was given to them. Whether I agree with it or not doesn't matter. It's already happened. I can't undo it. If you have a Back to the Future DeLorean, we can go back and say, hey, dude, you need to do this a little bit different. But we don't. This is where we are right now. And to say that folks aren't working together, it sounds to me like political party nonsense. And unfortunately, when political parties get involved and it's a hardline stance, people get hurt. I would say, just open up this bad boy, read it, and follow what it says. And and if you know of a political party that's in this one, let me know. I'll turn to that page and I'll read about that political party. But there's no political parties in there. So that's my thoughts on immigration policies. I like your question about the perceived freedom. I like the way you put that. So I'll answer that in the next video. Again, my name is Ben Gibbins. I'm running for State Assembly District 52. My website is bengibbins.com. If you want to jump on Twitter and have a political debate, it's Twitter at PARA82ND_1. I wish you and all yours the best, and I'll talk to you again.